family business owners typically have a longer term perspective. It's pretty obvious that they've owned a business for 50 or 100 years. I think that results in some nuances, some important nuances in how they handle the crisis today. Among them being that I think because family businesses are families themselves, and consider their children and their cousins, their siblings in the business, that they may be a little more focused on the people in the business, employees, and the people around the business, the communities around them, whether it's the sort of commercial bankers that provide loans to them, or their suppliers or their customers, and the focus on those communities, I think, has driven people who are family business owners to maybe spend a little more time treading carefully and dealing considerately with these people around them as they have to cut things back or concentrate their effort or let go of initiatives and so on. So that's kind of the overriding message that I think comes out. And I'll just very briefly give one example or point you in a direction of one. If you search for a guy named Paul Sullivan, and he writes for the New York Times quite regularly. He wrote on April 3rd and April 10th two pretty good articles on pretty much this topic. And I full disclosure, I worked with Paul to find and interview the people that he did interview. But he really does bring out from several of these business owners how they have focused on their employees and indeed their customers and their suppliers who they may not be able to pay, and the customers who may not be paying them, how they've worked, I think, a bit more thoughtfully with them than some other business owners might do.
Thank you. Dennis.
Well, a couple of things. I want to, kind of reinforce, what Pierre said. And there are all kinds of families that I meet. So there are manufacturing families, and the family that I know that has a restaurant and was just about to open after 40 years, taking a tentative step to open a second restaurant. And, there are just all kinds of situations. And I think the qualities that came up in the 100-year families are the ones that Pierre mentioned. I mean, the family enterprise is characterized by, first of all, the owners have a personal relationship, and these relationships mean that their goals go beyond just making money. They're not a bunch of people earning money together. They have other non-financial goals, and they see themselves as connected to a wider community. So the definition of whose family is very interesting. In the family businesses, they begin to say, well, so-and-so has worked for our family for 2 generations. His parents did, and he did, and he is our family as well.
Right.
Family advisors, when I have a family meeting, and sometimes I say, oh, gee, you're inviting the head of your family office. And I say, well, he's been with us since before we were born. It's really hard to figure out. There's a sense of connection, and it extends to suppliers, it extends to other people in the community. Their presence, so they're not. There isn't a sense of kind of selfishness that we sometimes I think not infrequently hear about, where it's like I'm looking at my self-interest. Families are reaching out. And the long-term perspective means, first of all, that they have always been frugal. So one of the things that I found interesting is these 100-year families, they routinely, when you ask how much of the money every year profits do they distribute, families, particularly when they have a large business, they maybe say, well, we distribute 10% of our profits, and we reinvest 90%. And so there a lot of families are not managing on debt and leverage. They're able to deal with it, and they're thinking about their employees. So they're doing things like continuing insurance, and one restaurant that we attend that we love sent out a note saying, hey, we've tried to retain our employees, but we've had to furlough some of them, and we're starting a campaign, and we're funding a fund for them, and we want to invite the long-term customers to contribute to this, and of course we did. But that's the way families operate.